Hi folks, how you all doing? Welcome back to Karen Vibes reading for the mature audience. Folks, I'm not even gonna say I've been busy. I'm not even gonna say it. I've had my hands full, and I know after sometimes a long lapse, you folks used to me by now. After a long lapse, I come on and say, "Oh, I've been so busy," but one of these days I'll have the help that I need, and I'll have I do have the help, but I'll have the extra help that I need, and I won't be so busy because I have a lot of stuff doing. Um, but we're here. That's the most important thing. I hope you folks are having an awesome Sunday evening. How you all doing? How you all doing? All right, folks. We're just gonna get right into it because we really need to finish our book. I'm gonna make it a point of duty to get it at least every other evening to get this reading done. Right, folks? Remember, you can find me on YouTube, Karen Vibes. That's KrenVibes, and that's with an exclamation sign. So if you haven't been following me and following my reading, you can just go on YouTube and you can always pick up from the very beginning that I started. Alright, so without further ado, folks, we're just gonna get into it. Alright, normally I like to read over a part. I'm just gonna read back. That's a little part where I stopped. And then just continue. Alright, so I'll start because I read here already, so I'm just gonna start back from this part. Slowly, his head inclines. Folks, forgive me. So the name of my book is Flowers in the Attic, and it's written by Virginia Andrews and narrated by moi, Karen. It's always important to introduce the book because persons can be coming on for the first time. So it's Flowers in the Attic, written by Virginia Andrews and narrated by moi, Karen. So let's just get into it. Slowly his head inclined towards mine, and he kissed me full on the lips as a way to seal his promise in a strong and meaningful way. Such a peculiar long kiss to give me the sensation that I was falling down, when I was already lying down. Alright, let's see what happens here. What we needed most was a key to our bedroom door. We knew it was the master key to every room in this house. We couldn't use the sheet ladder because of the twins, and we didn't anticipate, either Chris or I, that our grandmother would be so thoughtfully careless as to lay aside the key negligently. That just wasn't her way. Her way was to open the door and immediately stash the key in her pocket. Always her hateful gray dresses. Always her hateful gray dresses had pockets. Our mother's way was to be careless, forgetful, indifferent, and she didn't like pockets in her clothes to add extra bulk to her sweet figure. We counted on her. And what did she have to fear from us? The passive, the meek, the quiet. Her private little captive darlings, who were never going to grow up and be a threat. She was happy, in love. It lit up her eyes and made her laugh often. She was so damn unobservant. You wanted to scream and make her see the twins, so quiet and sick looking. She never mentioned the mouse. Why wasn't she seeing the mouse? He was on Corey's shoulder, nibbling on Corey's ear, and she never said a word, not even when tears streamed down Corey's face, because she wouldn't congratulate him on winning the affections of a very stubborn mouse that would have gone his way if allowed. She came a generous 2 or 3 times a month, and each time she bore with her the gifts that gave her solace, if they gave us none. She came in gracefully to sit a while, wearing her beautiful, expensive clothes, trimmed with furs and decorated with jewels. Oh, her throne! She sat as a queen and doled out the painting sets to Chris, the ballet slippers to me, and to each of us she brought sensational looking clothes. Well, well suited for attic wearing. For up here, it didn't matter if they seldom fit, either being too large or too small, and our sneakers were sometimes comfortable, sometimes not. And I was still waiting for the bra she kept promising but always forgot. I'll bring you a dozen or so, she said with a benevolent, cheerful smile. All sizes, all colors, and you can try them on and see which ones you like best, and the ones that fit best. And I can give you the ones and I can give the ones you don't want to the model, to the maids. And on she chatted, always true to her false facade, pretending we still mattered in her life. What a mother, folks, what a mother. I sat, I fixed my eyes on her, and I waited for her to ask me how the twins were. Had she forgotten that Corey had hay fever, which kept his nose running all the time? And sometimes his nostrils stuffed up so he couldn't breathe except through his mouth. She knew he was supposed to be receiving allergy shots once a month, and years had passed since the last one. Didn't it hurt her to see Corey and Carrie clinging to me as if I were the one who had given them birth? Did one single thing reach out and tell her something was wrong? If it did, in no way did she indicate that she saw us as less than perfectly normal. Though I took pains to name our small illnesses, the way we threw up so often now, and how our heads ached from time to time, and we had stomach cramps, and sometimes very little energy. Oh my God, I feel so sorry for them. Keep your food in the attic where it's cold, she said, without flinching. She had the nerve to speak to us of parties, or of concerts, of theater, of movies, and going to balls and on trips with her Bart. Bart and I are going on a shopping spree in New York, she said. Tell me what you want me to bring you. Make out a list. Mummy, after your Christmas shop in New York, where will you go then? I asked, careful not to turn my eyes on that key she had so casually tossed on the dresser top. She laughed, liking my question, and she laughed, liking my question, and clasped her slender white hands together, and began to list her plans for the long, dull days after the holidays. A trip south, perhaps a cruise, or a month or so in Florida, and your grandmother will be here to take good care of you. While she chatted on and on, Chris stole stealthily, I hope I pronounce that word properly, me and my list tongue sometimes, slightly stoned. Chris stole stealthily near to slip the key into his pants pocket. On into the bathroom he sauntered, excusing himself. He needn't have bothered. She didn't notice he was gone. She was doing her duty, visiting her children, and thank God she had chosen the right chair to sit in. In the bathroom, I knew Chris was pressing the key into a bar of soap we kept ready for just this way to make a clear impression. Just one of the many things watching. Sorry, let me read this back, folks. I knew Chris was pressing the key into a bar of soap we kept ready for just this way to make a clear impression. Just one of the many things watching endless hours of television had taught us. Well, at least the TV teaching something. Or watching movies. Once our mother had gone, Chris pulled out the piece of wood he had begun. Why am I making so much mistakes? Folks, my apologies. Once our mother had gone, Chris pulled out the piece of wood he had and began immediately to carve a rough wooden key. Though we had metal from the old trunk locks, we had nothing strong enough to cut and shape it. For hours and hours and hours, Chris slaved meticulously, carving that key, fitting and refitting it into the hardened soap impressions. Purposefully, he had chosen very hard wood, fearing soft wood might break in the lock and give away our escape plans. It took 3 days of work before he had a key that worked, folks. Hippie, hippie, yay! Jubilance was ours. We threw our arms about each other and danced around the room, laughing, kissing, almost crying. The twins watched us, amazed we were so happy with a little key. You know, sometimes it's always the little things in life that makes a difference. It's always the little things. We had a key. We could open our prison door. Yet, strangely, we hadn't planned our future beyond the opening of the door. Money. We must have money, reasoned Chris, stopping in the middle of our wild dance of triumph. With lots of money, all doors are open and all roads are ours to travel. But where can we get money? I asked, frowning unhappy now. He had found another reason for stalling. There is no way but to steal it from Mommy, her husband, and the grandmother. He said this so pronounced, exactly as if thieving were an old and honored profession, and in dire need. Perhaps it was, and still is. If we are caught, it will mean the whip for all of us, even the twins, I said, casting my eyes on their fearful expressions. And when Mommy goes on a trip with her husband, she could starve us again, and God alone knows what else she would do to us. Chris fell down on the small chair before the dressing table. He propped his chin in his hand, thoughtful and considering for minutes. One thing for sure, I don't want to see you or the twins punished, so I will be the one to steal out of here, and I alone will stand guilty if caught. But I'm not going to be caught. It is too risky to take from this old woman. She's too observant. No doubt she knows to a penny exactly the amount of money in her purse. Mommy never counts money. Remember how Daddy used to complain about that? He grinned at me reassuringly. I will be just like Robin Hood, stealing from the rich to give to the poor, to the needy and poor. And only on the nights Mommy and her husband tell us they are going out. So you'll only take the money when the mother says that she and the husband is going to go out, then he will steal some of her money. You mean when she tells us, I corrected. And we can always watch from the window on those days she doesn't come. When we dared, we had a fine view of the curved drive to watch the comings and goings. Soon enough, Mommy told us she was going to a party. Bart doesn't care much for the social life. He'd rather stay home. But I hate this house. He asks then why we don't move into our own house. And what can I say? What could she say? Darling, I have a secret to tell you upstairs. Hidden away in the far northern wing, I have 4 children. But of course she didn't tell him that. She's just thinking, suppose her mom was to say that, but of course she's not telling her husband that. And she never will. It was easy enough for Chris to find money in his mother's grand, splendid bedroom. She was careless about money. Even he was shocked at how casually she left tens and twenties scattered over the dresser. It made him frown and put suspicions in his head. Wasn't she supposed to be saving up for that day when she could take us all out of our prison? Even if she did have a husband now. Even if she did have a husband now, what am I saying? Even if she did have a husband now, more bills were in her many pocketbooks. Chris found change in her husband's trouser pockets. No, he was not as careless with his money. However, when Chris searched under the chair cushions, a dozen or more coins were there. He felt like a thief, an unwanted intruder in his mother's room. He saw her beautiful clothes, her satin mules, her negligees trimmed with fur, or her marabou feathers, making his trust shrink even smaller. So maybe the mother really now gonna get them out of that prison. Time after time that winter, he visited that bedroom, growing ever more careless. Since it was all so easy to steal, he came back to me, looking jubilant, looking sad. Day by day, our hidden cash was increasing. Why did he look so sad? Come with me next time, he said in a way of reply, and see for yourself. I wonder what she's gonna see. I could go with a clear conscience now, knowing the twins wouldn't awake and find us gone. They slept so soundly, so deeply, that even in the mornings they woke up blurry-eyed, slow, reluctantly coming into reality. It scared me sometimes to look at them asleep, 2 small dolls, never growing, so sunken into oblivion, it seemed more a small death than normal nighttime rest. Oh, goodness gracious. I feel so sorry for the little ones. Go away. Run away. Spring was approaching. We had to leave soon. Before it was too late, a voice inside, intuitive, kept drumming out this time. Chris laughed when I told him, Kathy, you and your notions. We need money, at least 500. What is a terrible hurry? We have food now and we aren't being whipped. Even when she catches us half undressed, she doesn't say a word. Why didn't the grandmother punish us now? We had not told Mommy of her other punishments, her sins against us. For to me, they were sins and not justified in any way. But folks, you realize it. So here now they're saying that the grandmother has gotten rather, well, you wouldn't say more lenient or soft. But you're going to find out as we go deeper, we're going to find out why the grandmother start being so, make them can't, we just say get away with certain things now. She's gonna do something so cruel. So cruel. So that's why she just kind of giving him a little leeway. Terrible woman. But anyway, as we get further into the story, we will see, or we will hear. Yet that old woman stayed her hand. Daily she brought up the picnic basket, filled to the brim with sandwiches, with lukewarm soups in thermos bottles, with milk and always 4 powdered sugar donuts. Why couldn't she vary our menus and bring brownies, cookies, slices of pie or cake? Come on, urged Chris, dragging me along the corridors, so dark and sinister. Lingering in one place is dangerous, he said. We'll take a quick look in the trophy room, then rush on into Mommy's bedroom suite. All I needed was one glance in that trophy room. I actually detested that oil portrait over the stone fireplace, so much like our father, and yet so very different. A man as cruel and heartless as Malcolm Foxworth had no right to be handsome. Even when he was young, those cold blue eyes should have corrupted the rest of him with sores, boils. I saw all those heads of dead animals and the tiger and bear skins on the floor, and I thought how like him to want a room like this. Alright, so we're going to pause right there. And folks, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll definitely be back tomorrow. God's willing, I'll be back tomorrow. Because I really want to finish this book. And I hate when I keep coming on and saying, yes, we're going to finish up, and then it just, but I'm definitely going to be coming on more often. And we got this. We're going to get this done. Because we want to move on to our other books. But folks, I want to thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding. And my apologies for taking so long to get this story done. But we're getting there. So we're still at chapter 22. Chapter 22 is a very long chapter, but we'll soon be done. The seat's not much left, so we're getting there. So we'll pause there for this evening. So folks, I thank you. Today has been a rainy, bleak day. But we always give thanks for the rain, give thanks for whatever weather that comes at us. Alright folks, so remember to like, subscribe and share. You can find me on YouTube, Karen Vibes, reading for the mature audience, and tell your friends. Do leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. We want to get this done with once and for all. So I'll see you folks tomorrow. So enjoy the rest of the evening. I'm trying to sort out some documents. I'm gonna just go finish up that and then make myself some fever grass and soursop tea. Guys, that's nice. Fever grass and soursop. What am I saying? Fever grass and soursop makes a lovely cup of tea. So I'm gonna go make myself some tea. Finish sorting out some documents and then make myself some tea. So I'll see you tomorrow, folks. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Take care out there. Peace out.